show. We got an email from a P1 listener. He says, I'm a priority one. I listen every day for at least an hour. That's what it is, a P1. It's very nice.
Mean it.
Gentleman's name is Glenn, and he said, see how you measure up, Kelly. Saw this online. LOL. It's a list that says, how trashy are you? Now, these are things that you do that are trashy. And
Trashy?
I printed it out. It says if you
That's a long list.
Yeah, if you do one or more of these things, you trash.
One or more?
I mean, I've done many. I read the first few. I've done them. I've done a lot.
Is this one of those things where you get a score at the end? Like give yourself a point if?
It didn't give a score, but there's like 150 things on here.
Oh,
I mean, look at that. That's like 6 pages worth of this stuff.
Yeah.
But here, if you have you done it or not? Some of them, I think I've done it. It's wrong, and I think I remember doing that, but I would never do it today.
Do you regret doing it, or just thinking at the time this is just how it's done?
I think you regret doing it. Like, for instance, the first one on the list: cutting in line and pretending not to notice that you've cut in line. You do the merge in the line.
I'm sure I've done that at some point.
Done that. I did that.
I think children do that. Adults shouldn't.
That's a trap. I did that. I did that when I went to see President George W. Bush speak. He was here doing a campaign speech, and to get in was a line, a mile long around the Coliseum, and I didn't want to do it, but the guy I was there with said, you ought to do the blend, where you just like start talking to somebody and blend into line in the middle of the line.
Wow. What would President Bush think of you doing that?
He would be against that.
He would
certainly.
He stood for decorum.
Yeah.
He did. He was.
And that's this century.
Oh, that was he was running for president. It was in.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
right on the.
Well, it was 2000.
It
was 2000. It was July of 2000. He was here, giving a campaign speech, and I do regret that. But Glenn says if you did that,
trash.
You trash. Parking in a handicapped spot without a permit.
Never.
No, I've never done that. That was always a bad one.
Well, that's 2 out of 3. And what you got there is a roaring silence, as they say.
For a minute.
That's always what they say.
Oh my God, you got to run in.
It's just for a minute.
I'm running in. There are 6 spots available, and it's just like you're going in for a minute.
What are the odds?
No, will 6 people who need handicapped spots drive up at the exact same time?
They did.
Glenn says,
"You trash human.
You trash. Save it. You trash."
I wonder if this is kind of similar. What about using the handicapped bathroom? That might be on there.
It's on there.
Is it?
I've done it.
Now, see, I've used the handicapped stall. I don't mind. I think it's different.
I don't see any drawback to that.
Well, you always think, and it happened to one of my good friends.
A handicapped person came in.
And it finally happened to him, and he was sitting there, and he saw, as he said, he saw the wheels,
and then he
just sat there quietly.
Oh, did he put his feet up on the?
Well, each one knows the other's there.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say you can't. There's no hiding that.
He said that he just sat. He just had. They had a quiet standoff. He said he just sat there till the guy finally left.
Squeaky wheels.
Yeah,
and you're sitting there.
Yeah.
You have to sit there for a half hour if you have to. You have to let that guy leave.
He said it felt like hours, but it was, it was probably 10 minutes. But he said at one point he realized he wasn't breathing.
Man, I cannot wait this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a standoff. It's a standoff right there in the men's room.
Sit off.
Yeah.
All right. Trashy. Leaving your gum under a table or chair.
I know I've done that.
Children do that.
He keeps saying that word.
He keeps on saying children.
Well, yeah, people who don't understand how the world works.
I did it at a luncheon for George W. Bush. July of 2000.
They had a boiled chicken.
I put it under the door of the stall of the handicapped bathroom at the George W. Bush speech.
Oh no!
In 2000,
I smushed it to the handicapped parking side.
Yeah, right.
So I ran across the parking lot.
Glenn says, "You trash."
Trash.
Trash human.
Now these are really trashy. I'd say I have not done these. Poking a hole in a condom to trap someone into a relationship. Good God. That's beyond trash.
That's dark.
That's beyond trash. That's like criminal. You can't do that. But
we hear stories.
You do hear stories about that. They addressed it on Sex and the City.
I wonder if that happens more in the fictional world than it actually happens.
Probably.
I hope. My goodness. That's changing lives there. You're literally.
At least 3.
Yeah.
Yes. Season 1, episode 5, Sex and the City. Poke a hole in the condom. I'll leave it at that.
Which one?
Just a random, not one of the majors, not one of the mains.
Oh.
Just somebody that Carrie knew was going to trap her boyfriend into a relationship by poking a hole in a condom.
And becoming pregnant.
Yes. She's like, I can always, if he doesn't want to date me anymore, I can always poke a hole in the condom. And I know. Believe me.
Trash.
Total trash. Letting your dog poop on someone else's lawn and not picking it up.
I know I've done it, but it was because I didn't have a bag at the time, and I didn't realize it. But it feels miserable, and I hated it. I went back.
All right. Well, I've not had a dog since the 1970s, and back then, dogs shat everywhere.
They ran where they want. It was just dog.
Nobody picked up poo.
No, there was dog feces all everywhere. It's all over the place.
Everywhere.
I'm not going to comment on it. Glenn says, you're trash. You do that, you're trash. Leaving dirty dishes in the office sink for weeks on end.
It's a running battle, Dan, in this building.
Oh, yeah, that happens. You know what my son's roommates did? They went home from college on December 4th.
Okay.
He did, too. He left and on December 4th. But he went back earlier because he has a job. And they had left dirty dishes in the sink. Now, it had been 3 weeks, and he's come and gone, but he cleaned it up like a month after they had been there.
Does their place have a dishwasher?
It does, but they left dirty dishes in the sink on their way out the door. Nasty, too. And my son, called his mother and said, what do I do? And she said, well, he said, it's starting to stink in here. And she said, well, you got to clean them up.
You're going to get vermin.
She walked him through it and made him put on gloves to do it.
You know, I think if you leave them at your house, sometimes you're in a rush. You'll get them after work. You'll get them tomorrow, whatever. I get that. But leaving them at work.
Yeah.
There was a sign. I don't know if you know. You don't go downstairs much. But the sign at the break room sink is now gone. They've given up. It used to say, please don't leave dirty dishes in the sink.
Yes.
Then, because they would pile up. I mean, it would pile up to the rim of the sink.
Yeah.
Then someone took that sign and taped it to the faucet.
I did see that.
So there's literally no way to not see it when you're, rinsing your dishes or your fork.
Right. But people still leave dirty dishes.
They still left dirty. I would take video and show and put it on my social media. It's the same as it ever was.
Right. And
over and over and over again.
And still there were dirty dishes in the sink.
There's a fork in there right now.
These are things, if you do these things.
Trash.
This is Glenn, a P1 listener says, you're trash.
Trash human.
Okay, this is workplace. Taking credit for a coworker's idea to make yourself look better. I'm not going to talk about that.
I don't think I've ever done that, but not knowingly.
This happens sometimes. You just never know. It gets lost.
In a creative environment, when ideas are bouncing off like electrons in an atom.
It's lost in translation, You never know who gets credit for what. It doesn't matter. We're all a team here, Mm-hmm. I'm not going to comment anymore. Glenn says, you're trash if you do something like that. I do not do this, talking loudly in a movie theater during the movie. Never. Don't care for it. You're trash.
Not since a child. Children sometimes do that.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're a teen, you almost want to feel funny.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking to your friends, you make a joke about the movie.
Yeah. Yes.
But as you get older, you're like, oh.
Do you ever talk to the screen?
Used to. I mean, it's like, hide,
get
run,
out.
Get out.
I never did that.
Run.
Yeah.
When Final Girl's running from Michael Myers or Jason, it's like, hide, take the car. You scream at him.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
He's not dead.
He's not dead yet. He's behind. He's behind you. You yell at the
We're
screen.
getting some planes.
It wasn't a horror movie, but my favorite talk to the screen moment was, I think I've told you this. I was watching Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
With Prince. Yes. And during the sex scene, the woman sitting one row behind me and West Coast Bob goes, blank him, Apollone.
Because he was.
She just hollered the F word real loud. Broad Street Cinema. Blank him, Apollone.
Yeah.
You're trash. If you do something like that, you're trash. According to Glenn, our P1 listener. Emailing or calling someone about work on a weekend.
Ooh, there's one of us here that does that a lot.
A lot.
It's necessary in the creative process. I have a major project, an audio project for Biggie. I called him about it Friday.
No idea.
Sunday at 5. I called him.
Yeah.
Said,
1,000 Years War?
That's right. That's right.
I'm in the hospital. Well, when
why
you
are
get
you
out.
just sitting there?
Yeah.
I mentioned during one of the Christmas Put Up or Shut Up games, I had instructed you to put in that terrific Christmas song by the Joe Bros. And you responded to me, I'm on oxygen.
And
I made sure that got done. Taking up 2 spaces with your car, you trash.
oh, that's the worst.
2
I hate
spaces
that.
with one car, or trying to put your very large vehicle into one for a compact car, which I've done in the parking garage at the Broadway shows.
Yeah. Well, look at American vehicles, though.
Yeah.
Bigger.
They're just bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm shocked those compact spaces still exist.
They do.
Exactly.
They're there. Yeah, that's right.
And sometimes I will see, like if you go to any parking lot, and someone will park a car in 2 spaces, I'm like, that car?
Yeah.
Right.
I bet it'd be a really
Yeah.
nice car to take 2 spaces.
Mhm.
I like a Ferrari or a Lambo.
So that
Yeah.
I don't want to see a BMW
Right.
across 2 spaces.
Yeah.
Nobody is BMW not good enough? I feel like a new
No.
BMW
No,
is
park
good.
that ass.
Oh, I feel like a
No.
new BMW.
Single space.
Yeah.
Jeez, I just think. But of course, I'm wowed every time I see a Prius or a
More of a
or a
Tesla.
Tesla.
Tesla, yeah.
I see even Prius. I see them like ooh, or Tesla certainly. Wow, even now.
Yeah.
and they're much more common now. And one more here. Glenn says you trashy if you do this. Throwing cigarette butts out a car window. Now I've never done that. Not a smoker, but you see it all the time because there's
Yeah.
cigarette butts on the road
For a
all the time.
while, and I don't know if they still do this, it used to be some places you could report the person.
For cigarette butts.
Yes, and they'd send you like an ashtray in the mail. They'd run your license plate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Somebody had an idea recently that cigarette smokers should be allowed to do what they used to do with like glass bottles, pick up cigarette butts off the road and turn them in to get money off your next carton. That way it cleans up litter
Yeah.
on the road.
I think we shot that down
you and BB
just a
Shea
few moments
did.
after
You did.
you brought it up.
I said it's a good idea. It cleans up the roadways, and you go into CVS and you hand them a bag full of cigarette butts. Boom.
There you go.
Where's my money?
And the CVS employee has to count out 1,000 butts for one free carton of cigarette. Is what it is. That's how it works. This, I guess, would be considered trashy. It happened in Yuma, Arizona. You call it trashy. It's not against the law. People are upset by it. Right back around the election, just before the election of 2024, a man went into a tattoo artist's shop with his 9-year-old daughter and said, I want to get a tattoo of President Trump on my daughter's neck. She's 9. Now, in Yuma, Arizona, with a parent's permission, you are allowed to tattoo anyone. If you wanted to get a baby tattooed in Arizona, you could do it as long as the parent signs the form. So the tattoo artist has posted video of him applying the tattoo now months after the fact, and people are really upset. He wound up tattooing the 9-year-old girl's arm with an American flag. He talked the dad down from the Trump tattoo on the neck to an American flag on the arm. And other tattoo artists now are saying, we need to change this law so that it's not even allowed to be done because it makes us look bad.
It is one of the most frustrating things about our career field. If you see a 10-year-old child with a professional-looking tattoo and they said they got it at a tattoo shop, that kind of degrades us as a whole.
Now, he's a tattoo artist, and he says, I don't want to do it on kids, but I have to if the parent comes in and wants it on the kid. I wonder how many states are like
Yeah.
that. That's a
I don't know.
surprise. I felt like, what's the age now here if you wanted to get a tattoo on your own? Is it 18? That you're without kind of any
Yeah,
I just
18.
assume.
It's 18.
I would think. Like, so a
Yeah.
16-year-old can't just walk into a tattoo parlor and get one.
Not without a parent.
But so what's the age with a parent here? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, I guess if somebody consents at
Mhm.
14.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are, I mean, I suppose if you own the shop, if you're the artist,
Yes.
you might say, look, I'm not going to work on a 10-year-old. I'm not going to do the job. You can go down the street. It's legal,
Yeah.
but I prefer not to tattoo
Yeah, you could do that. You're
a
right.
middle schooler.
That's probably why everybody's so upset. This girl's 9, and that's why he posted the video. He really shouldn't have done that either, honestly. But he talked her. So she's got a tattoo of an American flag on her arm at age 9. And you know, at age 9, how many things should you really be deciding for yourself that are so permanent like that? You know, but of course the father was the one that allowed her to do it. So people in Yuma have this reaction to it. They're upset by it.
I wouldn't let my daughter underage get any tattoo. No way. No, that's crazy.
No, I don't agree. I think they should wait a while.
These are people on the streets of Yuma, Arizona.
Yes, you can tell the outrage.
Well,
do you think let's fast forward 10 years, 11 years. Is this girl on the pole?
I think so. I mean, that would be.
I know that's your trajectory for anyone with a
Always.
tattoo, Kelly. They're on the pole.
I mean, at age 9, you get a tattoo, you're on the pole. That's all. I mean, that's 2 and 2 makes 4. That's how it is. Clem, you wanted to comment on tattooing. In this case, a 9-year-old. Go ahead.
No, in North Carolina, you can't sign for your kid to get a tattoo.
You cannot.
You have to be 18.
You have to be 18.
No.
I think that's the way it should be.
It's smart.
I agree. I mean, 18, okay, you can make the decision. But before that, I just don't see it. Thank you, Clem. That makes way more sense. And that's why some are saying Arizona should change to that. You know, so you have to be 18 and do it. One woman was asked, as you said, there's outrage in the streets of Yuma. And one woman was asked, what about a teenager? You know, how would you prevent your teenager from getting the tattoo? And she says, here's the way to do it. Tell them I support you getting the tattoo, and then they won't because they'll try to
reverse psychology.
I think if you let your teenagers do what they want, they slow it down on it quicker. If you tell them they can't, they're going to find a way, and they're going to do it 3 times.
She got angrier and angrier. You heard.
Now, this is a whole different ball game. But what about piercing? I mean, babies get their ears pierced. Children get their ears pierced, but the parents are with them.
But
but
I bet it's
ears are one thing. No way.
What about like if you wanted to get your nostril pierced?
I bet that's 18 again.
You think?
Why ears so early? I bet a nostril could
Just
be
a
pierced.
cultural thing?
I bet the nose could be pierced.
I bet all piercings are 18. But
no. I mean, with parents' consent, you can do it at 18 months. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. But I bet if you went in even without a parent at 17. Just to pierce your ears, I don't know if they will.
Right, but my question is, if a parent says, yeah, this is the case here. I mean, a 9-year-old can't just walk into a tattoo parlor and get a tattoo. But if a parent says yes, would they let you pierce their lip or their nostril or tongue? What if I wanted my 2-year-old to get a tongue piercing? That shouldn't be allowed. Do you think? I bet they let you, though. I bet
you would hope that the body modification people would say, I'm not going to do that to a 2-year-old.
Well, that's what you said about the tattoo artist too, which is right. You know, the guy could have said, because you can refuse business for most things. Just not what's our lawyer not on?
It's not a protected class,
right? Race, sex, that's a protected class, but maybe age, but not just I'm not going to do it. Well, that would be age, though, wouldn't it? It would be, and I don't think that's protected because you can say no, no one under 18 in my store if you wanted to. I don't know. It's a good question about piercing. I think a 17-year-old could go in and get their nostril pierced without a parent. But I
you think anyone
no
in your because your daughter's a high school junior,
sophomore.
Anybody in her circle got their the side of the nose pierced?
I think so. I feel like that's the case, but I'm not sure. Jim, you're talking about piercings. Go ahead.
Yes, you can get a piercing under the age of 18 with parental consent. My 15-year-old had her belly button did with her mother's consent.
Were you against?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not against it.
Now,
there's a whole era of navel piercing.
What about if you wanted to do that at age 2? Do you think they would do it?
Well, I think there'd be a little bit of parental issue about that, but not. I mean, I guess if you belong to a certain tribe, you could get it done. I don't know.
Well, I think that. But I mean, if you can do it at 15, you can probably do it at 2, as long as there's parental consent. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. You heard the woman in Yuma.
I want my 2-year-old to be the coolest kid at daycare.
Right. Listen to her get mad again.
I think if you let your teenagers do what they want, they slow it down on it quicker. If you tell them they can't, they're going to find a way, and they're going to do it 3 times.
That's what parents are.
Tom, the streets of Yuma are angry this evening.
We get angrier and angrier.
The news, it was probably young producers and reporters on this, and they were like, go fire up the old heads.
Probably.
9-year-old with a tattoo could get their heads exploding.
Just go get them.
Zoom in tight.
Yeah, go and ask people as they're filling up gas tanks about teens.
Go get them. Teens. 3 times.